Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin Haji Mohamad Yassin, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang berhormat Datuk Sri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, Minister of Environment and Water. Colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Warm greetings from UN Habitat, Nairobi, Kenya. Please allow me to begin by thanking the Government of Malaysia for this invitation to present my remarks at this conference officiated by His Excellency Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Haji Muhyiddin Haji Mohamad Yassin, the Prime Minister of Malaysia. In these challenging circumstances, the Government of Malaysia's determinations on tackling the twin Cs of COVID-19 and climate change opens the way towards a clean, green and inclusive recovery. I further commend the government for its sustainability agenda in the 2021 budget that aims to balance economic growth and people's well-being. Let me also congratulate the organizers of the Malaysia Low Carbon Cities Conference 2021. This includes the Ministry of Environment and Water, or CASA, under the leadership of the Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, whom we share a mutual commitment to climate action globally. My personal thanks to UNDP Resident Representative, Mr. Niloy Banerjee, for extending this invitation to UN Habitat to address these esteemed gatherings of experts and policymakers. Let me express my solidarity with the people of Malaysia, my fellow citizens, as they face the unprecedented impacts and immense challenges in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. You are not alone. In the first months of the pandemic, UN Habitat has estimated that over 1,430 cities in 210 countries had been affected, and over 95% of the total cases were in urban areas. The challenges faced in Malaysia is particularly difficult, as more than 75% of its total population are living in urban areas. Over the past 1.5 years, we have learned that few countries were adequately prepared to combat the pandemic. Indeed, cities and mukims serving as economic centers were often the first places to be exposed. Our everyday public transport hubs, both international and domestic, became catalysts for the spread of COVID-19. The poor, the elderly, disabled and those with underlying conditions, especially living in slums and informal settlements, were disproportionately affected, increasing vulnerabilities. In fact, many of the risks of urban residents before and after the virus were anticipated in the UN Habitat Strategic Plan 2020 to 2023. This includes inadequate housing, poor accessibility and connectivity, lack of access to clean water, sanitation, and waste management. If anything, COVID-19 vividly illustrates inequalities and exclusion in our cities that member states have committed to resolving in the new urban agenda. However, in battling COVID-19 and building a new normal, we must not forget that the greatest threat to humanity is climate change. Unlike the virus that had caught us unaware, we have every opportunity, every scientific proof, and every foreshadowing of what is to come to address climate impacts. I thank CASA and the Ministry for taking the lead. I thank the Prime Minister for his leadership, as we need a whole of government approach to deal with climate change. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, what we do not have is time. Local climate action plans with concrete and verifiable targets are needed to move from small-scale interventions to citywide action that can be replicated nationally and internationally. This must be anchored in a more ambitious nationally determined contributions, or NDCs. As highlighted in the UN Habitat Cities and Pandemic Report, we can do this by 3 key actions. 1. Rethinking the form and function of the city and directing investment in areas which form urban weak spots. Second, addressing systemic poverty and inequalities in cities. This will require a new social contract grounded on human rights and institutional reforms to empower cities to implement redistributive measures. Third, harnessing the power of densities, economies of scale, and connectivity must continue to support the rapid deployment of innovative low-carbon solutions. As it has been the case in Malaysia, rebuilding a new normal urban economy through programs such as Prihatin, Kita Prihatin, Prihatin SMEs, Penjana, Permai and Pemerkasa, vulnerable individuals and sectors such as B40 category, small businesses and industries must be equipped with knowledge, tools, and resources to be prepared and absorb some degree of shocks and stresses associated with climate change. Finally, urban legislation and governance arrangements must be continuously clarified to effectively deliver welfare services to the last mile and those most in need. Today's conference comes at a critical time, upon which Malaysia prepares to commit to its 2021 to 2030 nationally determined contributions to reduce its greenhouse gas CSG emissions intensity of GDP by 45% relative to 2005, and as a nation and as the country prepares for the formulation of the 12th Malaysia Plan 2021 to 2025 guiding development as a whole. Let me appeal to be bold and ambitious in your collective vision. The future of Malaysia depends on it, and I look forward to hearing the outcomes of your deliberations and transformative actions, which I can assure you on behalf of UN Habitat, we stand ready and remain fully committed to supporting. Thank you. Terima kasih.